Hello everyone, and welcome to another walkthrough of a Quill adventure. Today we're going to be looking at a game called Aural Quest. So this game was originally included on an album by the British band The Stranglers. The album was called Aural Sculpture, and at the very end of the tape version of the album there was the Spectrum file that could be loaded into the Spectrum to play this game. So this is Aural Quest, a game set in modern times, or modern times in the 1980s, as the game was released in 1984, the purpose of which is to collect some pieces of an ear. Quite an unusual quest, but anyway, let's play on. Welcome to Aural Quest. You are the Stranglers tour manager. As this adventure begins, you are redecorating your apartment and on top of a ladder, painting the ceiling. You can also see a paint pot. The phone is ringing. So we may think that the obvious thing to do to start this game is to answer the phone, but as you might find out if you try and do that, if we notice we're on top of a ladder, if we try and answer the phone without getting down the ladder first, that will be game over as we fall off the ladder, so we won't do that. Instead, what we'll do first of all is to climb down the ladder. You're in your flat in Romford. As you're in the process of redecorating, all the furniture is draped in dust covers. Exits are west, northwest and southwest. The phone is ringing still. You've climbed down the ladder, but your foot is now wedged in the paint pot. So I think we might want to do something about that first. Let's remove the pot from our foot. And we can see the paint pot. Now it's been removed. Let's look at what we're carrying. We're carrying a brush, the paint brush we were using to paint with. We don't need that, so let's drop the brush. The phone is still ringing, but you might have noticed everything is draped in dust covers, so in order to find the phone to answer it, we're going to need to lift the covers. So you're in your flat, you can see a desk with a front flap and a telephone. Well, it's time then to answer the phone. CBS Records are on the phone. They say that they want you to go to Nice, New York, Stockholm, Tokyo and Brisbane to pick up the promoters' payments for the Stranglers tours in those places. On your travels, you have to find and bring back 4 parts of a giant ear statue that the group have made for their stage act. The ear is to be displayed in London. The promoters' payments are to be brought back one at a time to the accountant's office. He will give you your next plane ticket. Okay, so I think we know what we've got to do. We've got to visit these locations, collect the promoters' payments, and whilst we're there, look for 4 parts of a giant ear statue. So what should we do first? Let's open the desk. We can see there we've got a passport and a toolkit. Well, we may need the toolkit later, but for the time being, well, let's get the passport. Obviously we know we're going to need to travel abroad. And let's head west and straight into the office of the Stranglers accountant. So clearly in this adventure, no room for many kind of streets or many locations that you'd expect to see between your home and the office of the accountant. We're straight there, so we can also see a return airline ticket and traveller's checks. Both of those things sound quite useful, so we'll get the ticket and we'll get the checks. And now let's go south. An exhibition hall, a very brief description. We can also see a phrase book. Well, let's get the phrase book. And now I think we've got everything we need for our first flight. If we go northwest, we find ourselves in Heathrow Airport. Welcome to Heathrow Airport. British Airways announced that the passengers should have their documents ready for inspection. There's a plane on the runway. Next flight, Nice. What are your instructions? Well, let's fly. You have arrived at Nice Airport. The route is east. There is a plane on the runway. So let's go east into Nice. À la rue. Well, you are in France, and that's what they call a street, isn't it? You're facing east. Behind you is the airport. To your right is the promenade. In front of you is a telephone booth. The road also goes to the north. Let's start then by going north. You are at the door to the promoter's office. The street goes south. Well, we know we want to collect the payment from the promoter's office, so let's go into the door. You're inside the promoter's office in Nice. He puts his payment on the table in front of you. The door is south. You can also see a promoter's payment. The promoter seems to have something to tell you. He sounds agitated. You learn that the band is in jail, and he suggests that you get a local lawyer to bail them out. Okay, we'll get the payment. But I think while we're here, we will need to try and get the band out of jail. So let's see if we can find a way of doing that. We'll start by going south. And south again, back to La Rue, where we came in. And let's go south again to the promenade. Promenade des Anglais. Below you is the beach where young ladies of the jet set are showing off their Kenso bikinis. In front of you are some steps leading up to a coffee house. Okay, let's go up the steps. You enter the coffee house. The way out is north. And while we're in the coffee house, although it's a coffee house, being English, we're going to buy some tea. There we go. You're seated at a table in the cafe. The door is north. You can also see a business card, a book of matches, and a souvenir pen. The waiter brings your order and accepts the traveller's check and puts your change on the table. Well, I don't see my cup of tea. I assume I must have drunk it already, but let's get the card. And we'll get the change. And now if we read the card, it has a lawyer's phone number on it. That's pretty convenient because we need to find a lawyer to get the band out of jail. Let's take ourselves north and east. You're in the phone booth. Now let's call the lawyer. The lawyer picks you up in his car and drives you to the jail. He arranges bail for the group. Let's press a key. You're at the prison. When you're ready to leave, type ready and you'll be driven to the airport. You can also see a part of the ear. Okay, we'd like to get the ear. I think we're carrying quite a few things we don't need, so if we drop the lawyer's card, which we won't need anymore, and drop a change, and now let's get the ear, and I think we're ready to fly back to the UK. Let's type ready, back to Nice Airport, and then fly, and then we're back at Heathrow Airport. So, now we're back at Heathrow, back in the UK. Let's give our payment to the accountant. So we'll go east, back to the accountant's office, drop the payment, and we can see he's given us a return airline ticket. So let's get the ticket. And while we're here, we'll go south, and we'll leave the part of the ear here in the exhibition hall. Right, we've got a ticket. We can go northwest. As we can see, the plane's back on the runway. The next flight is to New York. We're going to want to go there, so let's type the word fly. John F. Kennedy International Airport, welcome to New York. An aircraft is on the runway, the ways out are west. Let's go west. You discover you have to go through Central Park and it's getting dark. Suddenly you hear a noise, you're struck from behind, but you can also see a part of the ear. You woke up in a hospital bed. A nurse told you that you were mugged. When you were found, you had no passport or money, but you did have a part of the ear. You can see a telephone. Next is a west. And if we look at our inventory, yes, we've got a part of the ear. We've still got our airline ticket, which is good, and a phrase book, but what we don't have is our passport. So it's going to be a bit of a challenge perhaps to get out. Can we leave going to the west? No, because we can't pay our medical bill. Okay, better try and sort that out. Luckily there's a telephone here, so I think we should phone our accountant. You speak to the accountant, who arranges to pay your medical bills and has some traveller's checks sent in to you. The exit from the hospital is west, and we're now carrying some traveller's checks. So now let's go west and leave the hospital. We're outside the British Embassy. You can see a notice. The entrance is south, and the street goes north and east. Well, let's go north. Or in the US promoter's office, the way out is south. You can also see a promoter's payment. Well, that's what we came for, so we'll get the payment. And we'll head south. And let's read this notice. It reads, Passport Office, 6th floor. Okay, we need a passport, so let's go in and try and find the passport office. Go south. You take the elevator, but it gets stuck at the 5th floor. You get out to look for the stairs. Corridors run north, east, south, and west. And again, this is a very typical 1980s adventure. And we're in a maze, so if we wander around, we discover that many of the corridors all look the same. It's very difficult to tell where we are unless we drop objects and use those to map the maze. Luckily, I've mapped the maze already, so we'll start by going north, which doesn't take us out of the building, but identical corridors run north, east, west, and south. Let's go east. Location looks very much the same. Go east again. Again, all these locations look the same, although are different. South. Congratulations, you're at the stairs to the passport office. You climb the stairs. The passport office is north. Okay, let's go north. You are in the passport office where you are issued with a replacement. The way out is down by elevator, but this one works. Okay, let's head on down. Back to the British Embassy, go east to the airport again and head back to the UK by flight. Let's fly, we're back Heathrow Airport. If we go southeast, we can drop the ear here alongside the other part of the ear. If we look, we've now got 2 parts of the ear, another 2 to go. So we'll go north, drop the payment with the accountant, and get yet another ticket. Let's get the ticket. Go west. This time the flight's going to Stockholm. So we'll fly. And Stockholm Airport. It's all quiet on the eastern front. The exit is east. You can also see a notice. So let's read the notice. It reads, SIS, Stranglers Information Service, post number 32, Shepperton Studio Centre, Shepperton, Middlesex, TW17 OQJ. Enclose SAE, that's stamped addressed envelope, or international postal reply coupon to cover postage. So, this is the address at which you could write to the Stranglers if you wanted more information. Undoubtedly, if you wrote there now, you wouldn't get a reply, not least because Middlesex as a county of the UK is no longer a thing and hasn't been for I don't know how many years now. But anyway, this was sometimes typical of games of the era. The author liked to put their address in and you could write to them and find out more, or just ask for hints or congratulate them on writing a game that you enjoyed. Anyway, it's nothing to do with the game here, so let's head on to the east. An airport lounge, exits are west and east. You can also see a promoter's payment. Let's get the payment. Okay, let's see, is there anything to the east? 2 burly policemen insist that as you're something to do with the Stranglers, you must leave the country at once. That's a shame, I'd have liked to have seen more of Sweden, but never mind, we'll go back to the west then. Back to the airport lounge and fly back to the UK. Okay, now we've got our payment. Let's go east again to the accountant, drop the next payment, and get yet another ticket. We'll fly for a minute, but before we fly, let's go north first of all, to the local public house, usually frequented by your security crew. We can see Joe here from security. Well, it might be nice to buy Joe a drink, so let's buy Joe. He thanks you and says he will go with you. Joe is with you. Okay, well, it might be good to have someone like Joe around. Let's go southwest, back to the airport. We can see the next flight is to Tokyo, and although we've only got one ticket, we're going to fly to Tokyo. That takes us to Narita Airport, Tokyo. Exits north, south and east. You can also see a large number of rioting students. Also, a squad of riot police who are urging you to go east for your own safety. Joe is with you. Well, presumably he must have found his own ticket somewhere. But given that east seems to be the only safe way to go at the moment, let's head east. And it looks like we have some lyrics here as well. If they should ever sell out, that would be the end of time. And this may be quite appropriate lyrics, because we can see a street trader here selling watches. To the east are the remains of a bridge destroyed in the student rioting. That's convenient. Over a main road. West leads back to the main airport. You can also see a large wooden plank. Okay, well, since we're next to the street trader, let's see if we can buy a watch. Okay, and let's wear the watch. Let's go west. If we go north, a gate leads to some gardens. The street runs north and south. Let's go north again. You are standing in front of the main door to a building. The way back is south. You can also see a notice on an easel in front of the closed door. Let's read the notice. The sign says that a karate demonstration will take place in this building shortly. Okay, I wonder how quickly shortly will be. Let's look at our watch. Time is getting on. Okay, if we go south back to the gate and then go north again, you're standing in front of the main door to a building, you can see an open door. So time has passed. The karate demonstration must be starting. Let's go into the door. You are inside a large public hall. The way out is south. Joe is with you. You watch a karate display. An old man passes amongst the audience giving away tokens. He offers you one. Well, I'll take a token. Now, with our token, we'll go south. The door has now closed. That was the end of the display. Let's go south again to the gardens. Now I think as we've got the token, let's go in the door. The token you hold gives you admission to the gardens. A beautiful traditional Japanese flower garden. A small wooden bridge leads over a lake to an island from the centre of which rises an ornate pagoda. The way out is west. Okay, we'll cross the bridge. You are standing on an island outside an ornate pagoda. You can hear wind chimes tinkling in the breeze. You can also see a part of the ear. Well, that's convenient. Let's get the ear. And from here we'll cross the bridge again. We don't need the token anymore, so let's drop the token. And then let's leave the garden, going south. South again. Takes us to a Tokyo street. To the north is the airport. Going south would take you into an office building. So let's head south. Office of Honourable Japanese Promoter. The way out is north. You can also see the promoter's payment. Let's get the payment. The promoter offers a cheque, but your security friend insists that he pays in cash. You pick up the payment. Okay, well, it's a good job we had Joe with us. In actual fact, if we'd have tried to get the payment without Joe and return it to our accountant, the payment wouldn't be accepted and that would be the end of the game for us. So, rather good we had Joe along. But anyway, we've got the payment. Let's go north. North again to the airport. And let's fly back to the UK. Okay. Now in the UK, as per usual, we'll go east and we'll drop our payment and we'll get the ticket. And we'll go south and drop the ear in the exhibition hall. And if we have a look, we've now almost got an ear. We've got 3 pieces. I'm sure there'll be another one somewhere, so I think there's nothing for it but to head on to our next country. But before we do that, let's go northeast back to our flat. I don't think we're going to need the phrase book again, so we'll drop that. And we'll pick up this toolkit that we left here earlier. Okay, let's go west back to the accountant, and west again back to the airport, and the next flight will be taking us to Brisbane. So let's fly. Brisbane Airport. Some uniformed officials are attempting to coax a koala bear down from on top of an aircraft. Exits are north and south. You can also see a spray gun full of DDT. Well, I'm not sure why that's there, because actually we can't pick it up. So ignoring the spray gun, let's head south. You're standing in a large modern shopping precinct. Steps go up and down. The entrance to the airport is north. Okay, we'll go up the steps. You are outside the main door of a large electrical shop. Steps go up and down. Let's go through the door. Inside a large electrical shop, here they sell televisions, radios, CB sets, lighting of all kinds, and even computers. The way out is west. Okay, well, there's many things that we could buy here. I think one thing we are going to need shortly is some form of light, so let's see if we can buy a torch. Okay, let's check our inventory. Yes, we have a torch. That's good. Now that we've bought the torch, we won't do the traveller's checks, so let's drop those here. Let's head out to the west and go up. Inside the Australian promoter's office, the way out is down some steps. You can also see a promoter's payment, so let's get this payment. This time it's not dubious, we can just pick it up without needing Joe's help. But let's go down, down, down again. The Natural History Museum, there are some steps going up. You can also see a piece of an ear. Well, perhaps this is the final piece of ear that we need, so let's get this piece of ear. Okay, and then head up. The piece of ear shatters. That's unfortunate. Okay, well, maybe we'll have to keep exploring. See what we can do about that. Let's go up. Let's not go up. Let's go down. And from here, let's go north. Back to the airport. Let's go north again. The dusty old track runs north and south. There is also a branch off to the west which leads to an old run-down building. Okay, let's go west. We're standing outside a disused public house. The old signboard is almost off its hinges. The name The Crow's Nest is barely legible. The door is open, the road goes east. Let's go in through the door then to the public house. Inside a derelict pub. There are old wooden chairs and tables all covered in dust. There's a trapdoor in the floor and a mirror behind the bar. Okay, might be nice to go down the trapdoor, but I think here it'll be dark, so let's light the torch and open the trapdoor. An open trapdoor revealing steps going down, so we go down. The old cellar. There are some old barrels and racks. Steps lead up. You can also see a crate of Foster's. Foster's, of course, being an Australian lager, so perhaps quite appropriate to find it here. Let's drop the torch and get the Foster's. Okay. Now we'll head back up through the pub, east, and east again, back to the dusty old track. Then we'll head north. Our track leads north and south. There's a notice on the north side. We'll read notice. It says, road closed ahead to all unauthorized personnel. Okay, well, that's never stopped us before. Let's go north. Gate to a military nuclear installation. The road goes south. You can also see 2 Australian soldiers guarding the gate. Okay, how are we going to get past some Australian soldiers? Let's see if we can bribe them in some way. The guards accept the crate of lager and let you through the gate. Okay, you are inside a top-secret nuclear device scientific station. The remaining part of the ear has been brought here as the authorities think it may be a secret weapon. The exit gate is south. You can also see a part of the ear and an advertising poster. Well, let's read the poster. It reads, "Coming soon to a spectrum near you, Star Dreams present The Sandman Cometh, the most unusual adventure ever seen, starring the Cheddar Cat, the Sandman, and a cast of thousands. Amazing colour graphics at every location, music and magic, in two 48K parts on one cassette. Don't miss this forthcoming attraction. Adventure programs will never be the same again." Wow. Again, the game is kind of breaking the fourth wall here by advertising another adventure game that you can buy. And yes, this is also a reasonably popular thing to do within adventure games of this era, to put in these little nuggets of adverts and try and promote other games at the same time. But anyway, we're here in the base. Let's get the ear and head out to the south. And those soldiers don't seem too bothered by us. Let's go south again. South back to the airport and fly. The accountant meets your plane at Heathrow, takes the final promoter's payment from you, and drives you to the exhibition hall. That's good. We've got 3 parts of the ear. Let's drop the final part of the ear. The road crew are waiting to assemble the ear, but they are very short of time. Think very quickly. Okay, at this point, the game gives us a limited number of moves to solve and help the road crew in some way. As you can see, we've got all 4 parts of the ear. So what might the road crew need? I think possibly a useful thing to assemble the ear might be a toolbox. So let's drop the toolbox. You are in an exhibition hall where the Stranglers road crew have just assembled the statue. Aural Sculpture, and there is the statue based on the ear that we just found in the various locations around the world where it had been hidden. You can also see complete ear statue. Okay, Clever Dick, you've won. You scored 100% and you've taken 169 turns. So that's been quite an unusual and fun little game. I hope you've all enjoyed it and hope to see you again for another Quill adventure soon. Bye for now.